Live from Music City, Nashville, Tennessee, this is your motivational, sensational, inspirational, educational, aspirational, international, keenly awaited, daily created, highly anticipated edition of the afternoon swing trading floor with your humble host, Jeremy Alexander Newsom, with another daily dose of mentally delicious brain food, reminding each of you to love life, live life, and trade it. What is going on, my friends from around the world? It is a Wednesday. Nito's in the building, says hello all. Welcome. My girl Sharon Baldwin, I bet she crushed it today because, you know, she's Sharon Baldwin and that's what the Baldwins do. Damien says, good afternoon. Afternoon, sir. Let's see. Are you in? Interesting. Just pulling this up here. All right, got it loaded. I think everyone should be able to see my screen and hear me okay. Just to make sure, throw in a 1 so I can verify you guys can see everything. That's wonderful. Daniel says, hello. I am enjoying your free week. Thank you. That makes me happy to hear, and I'm super pumped that you're enjoying it. I'm also equally enjoying it. It has been an absolute privilege, honor, and a wonderful time having everyone here. We still have plenty of time left, by the way, but unfortunately, it will come to an end. So if you've liked what you've experienced so far, if you've learned something, if you've taken something away, feel free to let the world know. Our mission at Real Life Trading is to enrich lives, and we do that by teaching people how to trade the stock market. All right, so let's go look at the SPY because today was truly a remarkable day. This was very, very nice. The SPY had, actually, I don't remember. Who can tell me what type of move is this on the SPY? What do we have? Seymour says, hello, everyone. Hello, Seymour. How are you? Appreciate you being here. So we got some type of gap on the SPY. What type is it?
I'm a classic gap. Look at me, no candles on the screen. I'm a classic gap.
You guys know what time it is. Yes. So that is a classic gap. By the way, once you hear that song, you can never unhear it. Troy says, what was that? That was me singing It's a Classic Gap. I'm a classic gap. So anyway, that's a beautiful bullish gap and go, classic gap, so nice, gorgeous in every way. You had a bearish candle yesterday, a little bit of a gap up today, and the thing just pulled back, retested. It looks nice. And so again, we've been talking about the market slowly grinding higher. That is indeed what happened, and it is pretty much occurring right now. Damien says, I can never unsee the FedEx arrow, thanks to you. I love it. So the FedEx arrow and the RL candle. I'm hoping those two will be like those iconic hidden images in everything. So anyway, I mean, realistically at this point, you know, we have a good gap, good volume. I think we're just going to continue up from here for a bit longer on the SPY. I mean, I know there's a lot of white candles. I get that, but I don't really see any real reason to slow down yet. So let's keep rocking and rolling. The Dow Jones, ticker symbol DIA, the Dow was up 1.82%. Now it did just slam its head into the 100 and 200 simple. We did have a decent amount of volume coming in, and we could retest, right? Tomorrow could easily have a nice little retest day. But again, from here, if you're doing credit spreads, weekly spreads, option spreads, anything like that, I think you could probably mostly focus on the bulls and the bullish positions. IWM had a little bit of a bullish candle as well. Nice looking move. So again, from here, and one candle can change anything. So if you have this just massive bearish candle, then, you know, sure, I get it, I understand. But other than that, I mean, I'm thinking we're just going to slowly keep creeping higher. And then here's the cues. and the Qs had a gorgeous gap today. Type in a 4 if you remember me talking about the Qs gap. When was that? I feel like it was recent. I think it was yesterday. It was yesterday. I was just talking about if the Qs gaps above these candles. I didn't say it was going to. I'm never for sure if anything's going to happen. But with the Qs doing what they did, I had a beautiful move. And right here, I had a few traders ask if this was a good time to go bearish. And my answer was, in the morning room, no. Don't go bearish. This is a bullish gap. I love that inside candle. Look to go long here. Congrats to all the traders, by the way, who did a very good trade on AMD. That was the most profitable trade of the day. At second was BABA. A lot of traders made some good money on BABA, so that was good. Robert Falco, ladies and gentlemen, just noticed the FedEx arrow. So if Robert Falco didn't know about that, then that means I have to show everyone the arrow. Because Robert Falco is one of the smartest people I know. So if he didn't see it, there's going to be other people out there in the world that you're about to learn something new for the very first time. FedEx arrow. You guys ready? 1, 2, 3. Now you'll never be able to unsee it again. Might even have to do it with a different color. There's an arrow between the E and the X showing like that it's moving forward. There's like progress, all that kind of stuff. So that is, there it is. Scott McKay says, I never noticed it either. Boom. They did their job well. Sharon says it's new to me. Oh, I love it. Well, hey, there you go. You can share that with all of your friends and family. Tim says, just like the candle in real life trading. Oh man, what do you guys know about the candle in real life trading? What if you guys don't know about the candle in real life trading? Maybe I have to share that too. All right, where's the biggest RL I can find? Okay, so let me see if I can do this. Type in a 7 if this is the first time you've ever seen a candle right there in the middle of the R and the L. I think in one of my early videos I mentioned that, but there it is. There's the candle right between the R and the L. It's on the shirt. So if you guys just now saw that, congrats. If you've never seen it before, hey, there we go. We have two things. It's like, yeah, isn't that cool? I took one of the classes I liked was logos. I took a marketing logos class in college at one point. And that's how I learned about FedEx. So anyway, sorry, a little off topic, no big deal. A lot of you think it's awesome though. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Okay, so the Qs, beautiful gap, nice move. Talked about it yesterday, up 2.5% and good volume. Everything looks nice. Let's rock it out. Robert says, $60,000 finance degree to learn about the FedEx arrow. Oh, righteous. Patricia says, you are so cool. Thanks. That's the only time I've ever heard that. So I'm taking that. I got it from Patricia, so no one can take it away from me. All right, team. Here's the first thing that we're going to dive into today is Delta. The reason I'm pulling up Delta, even though today is Energy Wednesday, I was very close to playing Delta today. The reason I did it is because I'm just a giant waffle in a house of pancakes. We had a bearish trade set up on Delta, and I'm very happy it never got triggered in. So, you know, we got close. We got real close to triggering in 2 or 3 times. I set it up officially on this day. So it was the 22nd of January. That's the day that I set it up. And the entry was 46.80. We got an entire dime away from Delta getting triggered in bearish. And again, the reason I'm pulling up is because we're going to cancel it. But I did see this gap this morning. This was actually the first gap I looked at, ironically enough. It was just the stock that loaded when I pulled up the chart. So if you're like, hey, Newsom, how did you hear about Delta? Literally, I just pulled up the chart. Delta was the first thing that loaded, and I saw it was gapping up. I was like, that's a cool gap. Unfortunately, I didn't play it, but it literally just crushed all day long. So anyway, the reason I'm bringing it up first is because we did have a swing trade on it, but now I will delete it. As far as the bearish swing is concerned, and if you are looking at playing Delta, you probably are keeping an eye out for a bullish trade at this point with that particular volume. Okay. So DAL, I'm going to come over here and cancel that one. It is now canceled. And that's it. Done and done. So here we go. And perfect. So that's Delta. Next on the list is GoDaddy. And the reason I'm pulling up GoDaddy, this is the one that we talked about just yesterday. And we talked about if you're going to look to get in bullish, 66.15 would be a really good price to play it. This is the one that I talked about probably for about 7 minutes. Also did the put sale for the 55 March put sale. And if you did the 57.50, that's also equally great. And earnings is still about a month away on this candle, on this chart. So if you got a chance to play GoDaddy, again, with this type of move in the market, congrats. If you did not, here's how we could easily play it together. Would be just a limit buy here with probably right about there. Make this stop, and then we could set this up officially as well. There's already a few people in it, but let's talk about this. GoDaddy swing trade. Seymour says, what premium did you get? So on GoDaddy, it wasn't all that much. This is the one that I was looking at again yesterday, and this is a stock I don't mind getting put the shares on. It was 50 cents. So 50 cents, not too terrible, pretty far away from where it's at. And I like the moving averages. It looks like GDD is about to slowly creep higher, and hashtag Super Bowl approaching. Let me spell approaching right. All right, GDDY. All right, and so we'll see if we can get that on a pullback for anyone who might not be in that. That's really about it. So GoDaddy, I will make that also the pullback an official trade in case a few people want to snag that one. Today is the 30th of January. Type in a 6 if you got those push-ups done today. 300 push-ups. I don't expect a lot of 6s because it was hard. Man, I struggled on the last like 25. We got Troy, we got Arabia, we got Tom. Seymour's at 220. All right, man, you still got plenty of day left. I like it. Good job, Arabia, by the way. Knocking those out. Very well done. Proud of you. So this is a gap and go today. Open because it's not triggered yet. And we'll throw that right in here. Okay, so again, the thing I liked about GoDaddy yesterday was just this. I like the fact that we're getting above all of the moving averages. You had this really looking move and bullish candle, little bit of flag pattern, and then again, a nice little bounce on GDDY. All right, that's GoDaddy. Next on the list is ticker symbol NEE. And NEE is NextEra Energy. So again, today is technically Energy Wednesday. So NextEra, this is just one that is a slow grind. Look at this weekly chart. This is one of the strongest energy plays out there. Just, I mean, look at this trend. Look at this. Look at this. That's great. So realistically, at this particular point in time, I mean, nice trends. It's a dividend-paying stock. I mean, buy the dip. That's all I can say on NextEra. Earnings have already happened. You did get a pullback, and we are at a low level. I'm not going to personally play this one, just because I can't beat everything, unless there's premium for a spread. Let me see. March or maybe even April could be spread worthy. Let's see, like a 165. 165, 160 is not terrible. You could get about 60 cents max. For March, that's not great. And then the next expiration is June. Seymour says, how do you get premium prices after a market? Just look at the bid and the ask. I mean, that's, you know, the option chain right now for NEE has the 165, the bid is $1.20, the ask is $1.35. 160 bid and ask is 60 cents and 75 cents. So I'm just looking out at it. Yeah, that's really it. Not quite enough premium for me for March. I do like the location. If there can be a little bit more premium, I would consider that. But otherwise, I mean, if you're in ticker symbol NEE, I guess just keep holding. Trend looks nice. So Cisco, my buddy Brian Montgomery sold a really delicious put sale on Cisco systems. So he sold a good put on this one, and let me shoot him a quick text message. Brian, congrats on that Cisco put sale. He's the only one I know of that's in this particular stock. That by no means doesn't say anything, doesn't mean anything. There's probably tons of people in on this, but 43.50, he's got a put sale, and right now this stock is just slowly grinding higher. Joel says 3x low at 172 to earn 172 on Nextera. And Taj says, do you have a link to your trading view? I will post that in the chat pane right there. There you go, sir. So I think if you copy that, you should be okay with that one. That should work. So anyway, like I said, Brian's only one in Cisco, and I will put that on the list for next Tuesday, mostly just to keep an eye on that one for him. So let me hop over what's Tuesday. Tuesday, so here's Monday, and Tuesday. Just, like I said, keeping an eye on that trade for him. That's one of the cool parts about real life trading. I do my best to keep track of a lot of the trades that other traders are in, and you know, keep tabs on everything. All right, so that's Cisco. Next on the list, we're gonna have. We'll probably go a little bit long today because we do have a few things to look at. So let's kind of fly. If the trade's not good, we're just gonna move on. HUYA. What's interesting about this is I actually still like the trade setup. 21.45 by 18.94. You're giving yourself a decent amount of risk. It's a little bit of a sizable move that would have to, you know, that would be required for this thing to make. But I also thought pretty highly about lowering the entry to 20.92, which is really not that far of a move. So here's the resistance on the hourly chart right there. And if we broke above there, I think it'd be pretty okay to continue higher. Here's the daily chart, and the daily charts, you know, we kind of retested the gap, a little bit of an upper shadow. I think we can modify this to here, and that way I could lower the stop a little bit as well to here, and just make the risk reward a little bit better, just marginally. So what I'm going to do is come in here and update that trade that we posted on Monday, I believe, either Monday or Tuesday. Today's Wednesday, right? Yeah, so Monday. And we're just going to slightly update it. Lower the entry some, lower the stop also, just a little bit, and keep a good amount of, you know, a decent amount of risk. But if HUYA does pop bullish, then that would be cool. Okay, so 21.04, 21.04 with a stop loss at 18.70. So we'll increase the amount of shares by about 5 if you're doing a $200 risk unit. Updating entry and stop. All right, perfect. So just a small little update, 2104 by 1870 on HUYA. Next on the list, QTT. What a delicious little morsel this one is. So QTT, there are some people who are in. I did not get filled, unfortunately. I will leave it open just in case something interesting happens because I still like it. But the low of this candle, right? The entry was 871. The low of this candle, you guys ready for this? 871. Woo! Getting them to the penny. So the S-curve was very pretty. Seymour says, did I miss the S-curve? Yes, I did miss this drop, as beautiful as it was. I didn't catch QTT until this day right here, and then it broke out, and I just did a limit buy. Again, I love the entry. I couldn't have really done anything better. It hit the exact penny to my entry. I just didn't get a fill personally. Some traders got some partials. Some people might have taken a little bit of a different play. I'll leave that open for right now, just in case. But I like the trend. I love the moving averages. Looks deliriously delightful. So if you're looking at playing a little bit of a bullish stock, you can also put that one on the list. Next on the list is SOXS. What is this one? I don't actually know what this is. Oh, yes, it's a semiconductor. That's right. I was like, I don't remember what stock that is. That's why. So this is a Bear 3X semiconductor. So you're probably not shorting this, and you're only going long, you know, if the entire semiconductor industry is going down. And that did happen, you know, the other day, but right now, this is the semiconductor Bear 3X shares. So yeah, I don't see anything amazing on these. 3X ETFs are a little bit challenging. Sherry says, will it drop below 9? That's a good question. I mean, it did today, so I'd have to say yes. Joel says, this is really only for day trades. Yeah, I agree. If you're playing a 3X, especially if it's a bearish 3X, you gotta be really careful with those because they rebalance them very frequently. They have tons of reverse splits, and you're just gonna get stuck with a lot of shares that are pretty much worthless. Here's the weekly chart. So if you're like, I wonder what this stock, I mean, look at this ETF. You know what I'm saying? So that's not, let's do a quick test. What is the trend on this ETF? And the best part is they'll still people, your brains will go, oh, but it could pop down here. It's like, yeah, I mean, theoretically it could, but. Thomas says it's starting to base. That's right. Anyway, bear trend. Okay, next on the list. Welcome to MGM Grand Hotels International. Would you like to lose a lot of money on our machines? I like this little trade on MGM. I like the gap. Nice, James. Good joke. I like that. Bullish gap and go. Obviously, the best place to get in was this pullback back here. I'm not in on MGM at all. Ooh, close above the 200. That's kind of nice. Earnings around the corner. I mean, I'll be moderately bullish on MGM. It just looks like the majority of the market. The thing is, for me, when I do look at swing trades, I don't mind playing something if it looks exactly like the market. But if it looks exactly like the market, I might as well play the market. So I do try to find something a smidge different based on gaps or moving averages or candlesticks, just something a tad different. And MGM, I mean, if a good close above the 200, I like the gap today. Earnings are not massively far away, but it's a good sign to close above the 200. And for me, I mean, if the market continues to slowly grind higher, which I think it will, then MGM probably will as well. So I don't have a new trade on that one, but it looks kind of toasty. British Petroleum, one of my most favorite energy stocks because it's cheap, it's volatile, and it pays good option premium for buying and for selling. So ticker symbol BP, there's a lot of real life traders in this one on the long haul. And all I can say is awesome. Bounce off that 200 symbol like a pro. Bouncing off support like a pro. Look at all these bearish candles on a weekly chart. Boom, 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 boom. Hammer. Kind of, a little bit of a high wave candle. Seymour says, it pays good premium because it gaps all the time. That's right. It's posted on many different exchanges and markets. This green line is a trend line that you can see on BP. And this is just a stock that I love to load up on at a low price. I'll put in as many shares as I can afford realistically and hold it until it goes higher. That's kind of how I play BP. This is one of those stocks that if someone ever approaches me and says, hey, Newsome, I got $4,000 and I want to grow the account, what should I do? And one of my answers is, first of all, start learning, right? Number two, pour a lot of time into charts, reviewing, studying, go to classes, study, back trade. But in the meantime, you can take that 4,000, find a really good, strong dividend, cheaper stock, just take that 4,000, put it in there, and let it grow. BP is one of those, So again, if you put $4,000 in here at 37, I mean that's no slouch. I didn't take $4,000 and put it in at that particular price, but if you did, you'd have 100 shares, and you're up right at 10%. It's not horrific, So again, that's a slow way to grow it, but that is a way to do it. And then yes, Seymour does pay dividends. Earnings around the corner on BP. I like the volume, and I'm just assuming it's going to slowly trend higher. That's all I have on BP. Looks nice. I like that stock. It's a good stock to trade. James says 6% yield on BP. That's right. Doubling your money every 7 years-ish. 8 maybe. Ricky says, hey, brother. Woke up late after being in the morning room. Dude, you were in the morning room all day. No worries. Thank you for being here. It's early over there in Australia, and I know you did not sleep very much. First Solar, ticker symbol FSLR. This one's been pretty. I don't have any position in First Solar, but my boy Bill does. Bill, do you have any covered calls on First Solar you'd like to share with us? Bottom line, it's throwing in a little bit of a double bottom. Here's the weekly, and again, like most stocks, you have pretty much 5 to 6 weeks right up, straight up. Nice little double bottom. My boy Bill says he got the 52 February 8th covered call. Nice. Look at Bill, just dollar cost averaging like a pro. All right, 52. Bill B, February 8th. All right. And this is a monthly chart over here on First Solar. The 100 kind of coming down. So, I mean, we're just hanging out on FSLR for the most part. It's buy low, sell high. Obviously, it's in some type of weird accumulation phase and has been for about the last 6 years. It's a decently volatile little cookie. And I have no idea if it's ever going to return to glory, but what I can say is it has broken out of some of these lower highs. So, right, you had a lower high like this and it broke out of that, and you had a lower high like this and it broke out of that. Had this lower high, broke out of this, had this lower high, broke out of that. So it keeps just making new, lower highs, and then here's your higher low. So at some point, First Solar starts cooking with steam out of here and popping. It could be nice. Seymour says it's perfect for an iron condor. Yes, we've done a few iron condors on First Solar, and yeah, you're right. It's been fun to trade some options on from time to time. So anyway, that's Bill's covered call. Looks beautiful, Bill. Most likely will expire worthless, and I'll put that on the list for you next week. because those expire next Friday. Is this Friday really February 1? Let me just check the calendar. Wow, it is. It's intense. Diane says inverted head and shoulders on a 3-week. Yeah, I can see that. Falco says no idea what Zuckerberg is saying, but Facebook is on a rocket ship. Yes, it is. I don't know exactly if this is what you're seeing, Diane, but there's some type of pattern here. I can't really deny. Just looks like it's about to run into the 200, pause a little bit, but I do think it's going to slowly keep creeping higher. So if you have a position in First Solar, I guess just stay in bullish. Looks nice. All right, ticker symbol ENB. Talking about good dividends. Here's a weekly chart. I think in bridge pays dividends. Don't have any positions on this stock. If I did, this would be the spot that I would likely sell some covered calls. But there's probably no premium. You have to go to 37.5 and you could get 45 cents. That is for March, which isn't terrifically terrible. I think that's about it on EMD. I mean, this is a decent resistance, but again, is it going to double bottom, kind of like all the other stocks are out there right now? Most likely. You know, with this resistance, what's going to happen in the market is we're going to keep slowly churning and burning higher. And once we do that, everyone will hop on bullish, and that'll be about the time the market gets a little bit of a roll down and we get a little bit of a bounce. But realistically on E and B, I mean, thumbs up. At a resistance, I would do a covered call if I was going to do anything other than that. I would just wait it out. I get it. It's a little bit of a high wave doji at a resistance. Could be the spot where it rolls over. So kind of up to you how you end up playing this one as far as, you know, shares and collars and things like that. But nothing too wild on E and B that I see right now. This stock has been pretty weird recently. So VALE. The thing is, I watched this one most of the early morning yesterday for a continuation higher, and it didn't. It never gapped up. And then today was an amazing gap. The problem is VALE doesn't move very much. So even if you played VALE, boom, boom. I mean, if you held that thing all day, and never even exited the trade, you might have made a little bit of money. It just doesn't move that much. Great volume. It is volatile. No denying that. But for a day trade, it's just, the candles don't really move that much, realistically. What a lot of people are trying to figure out is, will this end up being some type of, you know, like, I don't even know what you would call that pattern, multi-top, quadruple top pattern, complex head and shoulders. I mean, theoretically it could. The challenge is the neckline is probably about $12 at this point, and it would have to close below $12. The Bart Simpson hair pattern. That's right. That's right. The challenge is the 100 simple on a weekly is at 12 bucks, and I actually kind of think that this looks a little buyable. Based on that volume and based on this candle, I wouldn't say buy it right out the gate right now. However, a little bit of a retest and then a bounce on VALE. And I think if you were looking at playing it bullish, that's what I would do. I'm not going to personally take that trade, mostly because I can't be in everything, and I don't specifically have any interest in VALE personally. Obviously, it's very gappy right now, which is not great for day traders because, again, VALE just doesn't move that great. But Alexandra says they had a catastrophe last Friday, more than 60 people dead already. Yep, absolutely a tragedy. You never want to hear something like that, which was in Brazil, I believe. Yeah, so it's really quite terrible for all the people impacted by that. And you can see, I mean, the stock did drop, but it's already recovered. It's one of those things where, you know, you get something like that and you get a warning signal. I would say if I was a VALE shareholder, which I'm not, but if I were, my line in the sand would be about $11. We start taking out $11 and you could be really concerned with your position at this point. Other than that, I think it looks kind of just buy the dip worthy. Like I said, definitely a super sad incident, but longer term, is it going to have a massive impact on the company financially? Probably not, and the market digests things like that really quickly. So, yep, that is VALE. Alexandra says VALE had a similar catastrophe in 2015, November 2015, almost at the tail end bottom of the move. So if it can rally from two of them, like I said, you're a shareholder. If it breaks 11, that's probably where I'll be concerned. Other than that, I think you're okay. LNG. So LNG, last time I looked at this, I was just talking about a $70 covered call for February, regular February. So that doesn't expire until 2 more weeks. If you're in shares of LNG, you've got to like the last 3 days. Volume looks good. What an S curve. Man, boom, boom. So there's one, and then here's the other one. Bam. Right into all of those long-term moving averages. You got to like that. You really do. Again, that's just a nice little spot. This is one of those situations where you'll see me and myself and other traders do this a lot as well. But when we're taking these trades, if you're looking at a pullback and your thought process is, will it bounce? The truth is, no one knows. Right? No one knows if it's going to bounce, but if you can find a good trend and you find an area where it should bounce, then you get in there. And a lot of people will wait too long. I have a really good video on that, I think, somewhere. What is the bounce? Yeah, I think you will all love this video. I like it, actually. Real life trading. I think that's what it's called. Videos. I'm gonna have to go to YouTube and check it out. There it is. What is the bounce? What a title, Newsom. All right, I'll throw that in the chat pane. If anybody's watching this on the YouTubes, the recording, just type in what is the bounce and how do you trade it into YouTube, and that'll come up. Anyway, it's a good video, just more or less talking about that exact thing. I mean, a lot of times if you wait too long, you've waited too long. If you wait for quote unquote confirmation of a bounce, then usually you're going to be waiting too long. And that's, sometimes you can catch a good retracement, but yeah. All right, next on the list is USX. USX Enterprise. Here's the daily chart. This looks pretty. What is this? Okay, so newer IPO, and it's done nothing other than go down. Daily chart, some volume coming in. Nice little pennant pattern right here. Very nice pennant, nice breakout. Here's bounce number 1, and then here's really bounce number 2. Earnings is in the not too distant future. I'm not really sure what the stock's going to do on earnings, but as of right now, the trend looks good. Just a slow little bullish move higher. When would you have really caught the move? I mean, this is the candle right there. And then here's your Morningstar reversal today. So if it continues to make, if we go higher tomorrow, I would just assume that the stock's buyer's going to come in, the 10's going to press it up a little bit higher, and it should trade up a little bit into earnings. Zooming into the hourly chart, this is that bill paying time frame. That hourly chart, you can see that 50 EMA on the hourly, just this nice, crisp little trend. Could have gotten bearish right here, obviously would have lost, and then you got back in bullish probably sometime today. So that's my thoughts on USX. Enterprises. JNUG. JNUG. I was so close to doing a weekly options newsletter trade on this setup, and it would have probably gotten stopped out. No, it wouldn't, because I was going to do an absolute zero. No, I remember that. So this was over here. I was going to do an absolute zero call right there with no stop at all, because it's not a very expensive stock. Pull back into the 50 and then bounce. Really good volume. Check that volume out. Nice volume. JNUG getting a little bit of a bounce. Are you in this one, Ricky? I know you play JNUG a lot. And yeah, it was a nice little move. It was a little hard to catch that exact pullback because obviously this was a bearish candle on the 18th. But again, you had a good gap on the 25th. This is one of those situations, ladies and gentlemen, that when you're playing a trade like this, it's a great feeling to be able to look at a chart. One of the things that I look at when I look at a chart is who is losing money. And if I'm doing my analysis and I look at a chart and go, man, I bet people went bearish right there. What do you guys think? Type in a 3. You can look at that cam and go, yeah, I could see how someone got in bearish right there. Again, I didn't get in bearish right there. I'm not in JNUG at all, right? So just take that as it is. But if I'm looking at a chart, one of the things I love doing is just automatically saying who's losing money. And very next candle is an inside candle. The bears probably wanted to go lower. Bullish candle. Another inside candle. So the bears are hanging on, hoping that it breaks down. And then this candle comes in. Womp, womp, womp. So it gaps up above the bearish candle, above all these candles. Everyone who's in bearish is trapped, and that's what's causing this move right here. Very similar to this candle. Look at this. So big bearish candle. Type in a 4 if you're like, yep, people definitely got embarrassed there. Yeah, people definitely got embarrassed there. So then you had this bearish candle come in, but it did gap up. So the bears are like, okay, you know, it should go lower. And this candle comes in, the bears are thinking, whew, all right, just don't bounce. Also a bearish candle. So once this gap comes into play right there and closes above the high of that bearish candle, you got to think to yourself, yeah, these bears are trapped. You know, look to go long. Again, this was the retest gap, white candle gapping up, retest. There's the retest, and there's the bounce. The stuff is cool when it really just plays out that way. John says, was this kind of a tweezer bottom? I mean, technically, very close to it. 820 and 822. Super close. Overstock. Sherry says, wouldn't now be a good time to short? Ooh, good time to short. So when I'm looking at a trend like this, if I see a lot of volume, a lot of gaps, and a lot of white candles, I'm thinking the trend is bullish. I don't disagree with you. It really probably is a decent time to short, but you're going to want to do it very quickly. So anytime I'm looking at a trend and I can more or less establish and say to myself, yep, the trend looks bullish, then, you know, because we're making higher lows and we're making higher highs over the last few months, volume picking up. So if I was going to go bearish, something like this, it'd just be a fast one. So maybe zoom into a short time frame, you know, play it on a smaller setup, something of that nature. I'm not going to personally do that. I just very rarely trade counter trend unless it's a day trade. Then of course I'll trade counter trend. But again, actually, I like your perspective. I mean, could it just start to drop from here? Absolutely. You know, JNUG is not known for just running to the moon. But it does track gold, and as Ricky's saying, gold is steaming higher. Gold had such a great pin pattern breakout recently too. Okay, so Overstock, OSTK, here's the weekly chart, and here's the daily charts. And you're just in a little bit of a pennant pattern on Overstock right now. So when I drew this, I looked at it on Monday and I said, hey, let's let it pull back just a little bit more. And it pulled back a decent amount today. If anybody was looking at playing Overstock, because I did have 3 or 4 people request it, this is a way to play Overstock. Bullish here, stop loss right below these levels. So you got this high wave candle that's in here. Very nice high wave candle. Here's a little bit of a doji candle on 1030. The moving averages look pretty good, right? I mean, we're above them. And you know, the daily chart, so you're above all moving averages there as well. And you just have a little small inside day bullish candle. The only real challenge is, yes, the 100 is kind of right in front of your face, but we could break through it. We've done it before in the past. Earnings are relatively far away. And Overstock, I mean, could be also a little bit of a longer term perspective. It's down here decently far. It's had a really big retracement. This was some type of weird Bitcoin run up on Overstock because they were talking that they were just really pumping the whole Bitcoin thing. I forget the exact news stories that tied in with the Overstock, but once Bitcoin started going down, Overstock did as well. But now we're back to some massive lows. I mean, we've been down here before and we bounced. And again, you could think, hey, retail's dead. I don't want to get into this trade. And if that's your thought, awesome. I'm not in Overstock at all. Don't have any position in this one. It is a little counter trend. Yep. No denying that. It is certainly a little counter trend. So if you really zoom out to a monthly chart on Overstock, you'll see that the trend is kind of sideways. More than anything. So on a weekly chart, I mean, you did pull into some support. So if you go a big enough time frame, you are buying low and selling high, and that is kind of a goal. You're totally correct, though, Tim. I mean, it is counter trend. So you need to kind of factor those into your plan when you're taking a trade like this. They're usually longer term. Or they're very, very short term. Right? So like you're, you know, again, if you're doing something counter trend, if it's an obvious trend that's just going straight down, you gotta always factor that in, but this particular stock looks like it's a little bit more sideways-esque. That's Overstock. Ladies and gentlemen, Apple is not gonna stop. Whew, what a gap. High of the day, 166.15. The 50 EMA is 166.01, and it did precisely what we talked about yesterday. Gapped up, traded down, and then bounced. High bullish, high wave, engulfing candle at 905. Just, and then it retested right here. This is a really beautiful buy, again, for a second time. And then, yeah, the FOMC, all that definitely helped. It could have gone either way. Ricky says he's happy that he bought Apple before earnings. Me too. I'm happy for you. Love the volume. Love the gap. Hitting the 50 probably will take a day or two to break through that. But once it does, you know, dividends around the corner, might dip a little bit from there. So it's hit target 1. This is a gap and go, and something like this on Apple. I mean, I'm not bearish on Apple anymore. For now. For now. I was definitely bearish on Apple pretty hard once it started breaking the 100. And I was bearish until it traded all the way down to the 200, which was exactly 142 to the spot. John says, do you have any good videos discussing high wave candles? You know, I do not. I think that's in my history. Yep, high wave candles. It's on my ideas list. So I don't have one that talks about just high wave candles, but bottom line, John, they're indecision candles, and that's really it. Tammy says, can you cover Facebook and Tesla? I can. Just hold tight. We're getting there. Albert says, don't you think it'll go sideways after hitting the 100? Yes. So it will, but the 100 is 7 points away. Albert says, what hint convinced you on Apple? I was pretty bullish going into Apple on earnings. Nothing really, man. I mean, here's the thing that alerted me on Apple, right? Here it was. Ready? Here we go. John says, they're basically similar to dojis. Yep, exactly. So if we take the highs of 2015 and go down to the lows, it traded down 30% and bounced right off the 200 symbol. If we go over here to the highs and just drag this down, 37% hitting the 200 simple moving average. During this drawdown right here, Apple lost more money than like 1,000 Teslas. Something ridiculous. It lost like 400 PayPals. I mean, that's a lot of money for it to be down. Again, down 37% into the 200 simple moving average. My thought was, even if they just do terrible on earnings, they'll still probably gap up. But I mean, the earnings weren't bad, in my opinion. Graham says, would you say Apple will go back to an all-time high? I mean, yes. It's not going to happen in a week or anything, but yeah, I think based on the trend, so just based on this trend, it's going to take a little bit more time. A little bit more time for it to get back up there. Most likely, I mean, I can almost high degree of certainty we do something like this on Apple. Some form of accumulation before I go higher. Kind of similar to this. Maybe not the exact same thing, but you know, this was a 30% drop. This was a 30% drop. This was a 37% drop. It'll take a little bit, but based on the trend, man, I mean, yeah. It won't happen immediately, but they have $1 billion or so in cash. Is that what I read? Can someone verify that for me? I think it was $1 billion in cash. Oh, was it $2 billion? $2 billion in cash? Oh wait, I think it's more than that. Shoot, how much is it? Sorry, I'm trying to be sarcastic. Some people tell me I'm not really sarcastic very much. Yeah, they have a little bit of money. Baba, this was one of my favorite gaps of the day. Love this one. I'm pulling this up for a few reasons. Number one, Robert Falco had a put sale on Baba, and he bought that back today. I know there were a lot of you who were watching Baba and watching that put sale and who were in it, so congrats. Another small benefit, I don't mean to put this gentleman on blast, but he's a great person, so he's okay. My boy Andy messaged me this morning. This is one of the benefits of being in the trading, being in the trading room, being in Slack. You can text me pretty much at all hours of the day and ask me a very specific question. 7:06 this morning. Hey, Jeremy, do you think Baba fades lower today or runs? 7:23. It runs if it opens above the high of yesterday. Nina says, what does put sale February mean? That means that Falco sold a put on Baba, which is a bullish strategy. And it expired in February, but he already bought that one back. So anyway, Andy's really happy. This is best news I've had in a while. He has a share or two of Baba. Gorgeous gap. Very nice move. And this is the 5-minute chart. And the 5-minute time frame on Baba was just a really, you guys want to see this pre-market? This pre-market chart was gorgeous. So look at this pre-market chart on Baba. The analysis I was doing was pretty much just buying a pullback right about there. Resistance, 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 and then it broke above in the first 5 minutes. Huge candle, S-curve, goodbye. And that's all you needed, really. It was just that move right there. Just that little gain would have been delish. Few traders got very close to getting stopped out on this candle, but thankfully Harry Potter came in and wizarded that stock higher. And, beautiful bounce right off the 10, nice little move. So Baba, I mean, what's it going to do from here? I mean, that's a valid question. Based on this gap, go higher. That's a solid gap, team. Delish, delish, delish. And it all started with this candle right here. Does anyone recognize that candle? If you took my class 1 of real life trading, beginner series, you know all about that candle.
I'm all about that gap, no candle. I'm all about that gap, gap.
Nice, bullish, gap and go, one white soldier, morning star reversal, out of support. Started from the bottom, now we're here. All right, next on the list, we have ourselves ECA. And ECA, my boy Steven Jackson, who's been with me since day one, says, do we get a copy of your album with our RLT membership? Man, I need to make more videos. That's what I need to do. I need to make more of those. Oh, that's great. ECA. Wow, look at this pennant pattern. I mean, that is legit. I don't have any position on the ECA. Don't really plan on it. Mostly, I can't be in everything, right? I don't expect all of you to be either. Lower highs, relatively. I mean, just, if it pops out, rock out. That's it. ECA. I mean, nice little pennant pattern. Let it move if it's going to move. LULU. LULU. I mean, you can't be bearish on yoga pants. Steven Jackson has, how many pairs do you have, Steven? 4? 4 pairs of Lululemon yoga pants. They're comfy. Steven says he has them in every color. I mean, you got to. They're so form-fitting. You have a retest gap between the 18th of January and the 17th of January. You have a retest gap between the 11th of January and the 14th of January. My thoughts on Lulu, realistically, would just be buy the dip. If it does break out of what appears to be a pennant pattern, I mean, feel free to go on with your bad self. I mean, that's a beautiful pennant. So, I mean, if it pops, go on. But if it does break down and has a quick flash lower, because again, Lulu has made a dramatic bounce off of 110. I'd love a nice little buy, like 141 and some change. And if that one doesn't work, I would try off of 134.88, just right in this gap. But either way, that's really my plan on Lulu. I don't have any position in that one right now, but I'm going to buy the dip. eBay, Joel, do you hear they're starting to, they're releasing dividends. So eBay is going to start paying the divvies. And a lot of people are going to be excited about that. So realistically, earnings is over on eBay. It did have a retest gap. It is up there pretty far. I did fade eBay on that day of earnings. So this day right here, the 22nd of January. I made about enough money to buy the pizza that I actually ordered last night. She got like a $56 pizza. I was like, what, how is that so? She got like a build your own. And she got, what was it? I think it was called golden goat cheese. It was too much. $56 for a pizza. I was like, all right, girl. whatever you say. Anyway, this hourly chart, I'm still bitter. This hourly chart on eBay, I mean, I like it. If I was planning, you can see the 50 EMA, I would just kind of buy the dip and rock it out. Seymour says, you can't take it with you, Jeremy. Yeah, man, I know. Dee's coming over for some pizza tonight. Dee, that was last night she got that pizza. But we do need to have you over for dinner for pizza. But that pizza will not be here. Not if it's my Ashley. Nope. Yeah, hit me up. I got your email earlier today, by the way, and I will be emailing you back. Yeah, we'll definitely have you over. Anyway, yeah, eBay, I mean, if you're playing the hourly, just buy the dip. It's a good looking trend. It's a nice retest gap. It threw in a retest today. It looks pretty. Here's my boy James Herb throwing out some news for us, and there it goes. eBay initiates a dividend, gives upbeat earnings outlook. That's good news all around for a stock. Stock starts paying dividends, you start attracting a whole new group of people to buy it. And I think that's a bonus. I do for eBay. Plus, I like that because I know how they make money. I don't use them very frequently, but I used to. I think the first CD I ever bought was off of eBay, if I remember correctly. This is the monthly chart, and I mean, more or less, the trend is slowly grinding higher. So I like it. Looks good. Long term, be bullish. Okay, so we have a few more. We're gonna go a little bit long, but not too long because I have dinner plans at 6. Procter & Gamble. So I was looking at Procter & Gamble just yesterday. Had a little bit of a bounce. Got this high wave bearish candle today. I like this trade setup, and this one could have filled earlier in the day when I was setting this trade up, but I hadn't had it planned yet. So what I'm going to do is just publish this one and PG swing trade. I like the gap and I like the candles. We actually did have a bullish trade on Procter & Gamble not too long ago. And if I lose on this one, that's fine. I won't cry about it, but I really just like the gap. I'll pull it up in just a second and kind of show you what I was looking at. Boom, boom, make that happen. There we go. All right. So Procter & Gamble, today is 1/30/2019. And if I'm looking at the hourly chart, I mean, the hourly chart looks nice, right? Here's your bearish high wave candle right there that we broke above and already retested it today. And here's the daily chart. And the daily chart, while that's loading, might as well come over here, 94.04, 92.74. I think it's a good trade based on, what type of gap is that on the daily chart? Sorry, that's the weekly. Daily chart, yep, gap and go on the daily. Okay, gap and gap. Open because it's not trigger data, obviously, and we'll throw that in there right there. And again, I mean, so you got the bullish gap. We trade down just a little bit, threw in some lower shadows, morning star-esque pattern. We made a higher high today, and I'll just buy the dip if it happens, stop below the moving averages. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. But by the time it makes a new high, that'll be 2 Rs. Tim bought shares around the 93 area. Ooh, nice, Tim. All right, write it up. A lot of people also have Procter & Gamble in their long-term accounts, which makes sense. The trade desk, look at this gap. Whoo, alligator shoes. It's a good gap on the trade desk. It does look pretty similar to the rest of the market. I mean, I can't hate on it. It's a little bit of a pricey stock, so I'm going to wait on it personally. But if you're playing the trade desk, I mean, anything with the word desk in it right now is doing good. The trade desk, going from $30 to $140, no big deal. Makes sense. People like trading and people like desks. The trade desk, making magic. Next on the list, my boy Steven wanted to look at Roku. And Roku with this gnarly town retest gap on the daily chart. So white candle gapping up, trade down. You get, here's the S curve right here, right there on Roku. Nice little S curve and exponential moving averages. They look pretty good. Hourly chart looks good. I would just look to buy on a dip, most likely. If it doesn't happen though, you do have a first hourly candle is a high wave candle. So if we do start popping and dropping and moving tomorrow, I would probably look for something like this. A break above here, and then a pullback, and then a bounce. My boy David Johnson says, what is the retest gap? Got a really cool ebook for you, Mr. David Johnson. If you want to check it out, appreciate you being here. I figured this will do a better job of describing it than I will, at least right now. Only because I'm running a little bit behind. So I've just posted that in the chat pane. If you're going to click on that, get it, read it. You'll know all about it. You'll love it. You'll be blown away. It's killer. And Stephen was also looking at kind of like an inverted head and shoulders pattern, which I can't specifically disagree with. I mean, looks like this, and like this. So yeah, I mean, Roku starts slowly creeping a little bit higher. Looks good. Buy low, sell high on Roku. Okay, Tesla making more money. Tesla. A lot of traders in some trades on Tesla, and we're down just a little bit. Tesla sees profit in every 2019 quarter, but faces logistic risk. So here's the 15-minute chart, extended hours, and it's not really that bad. So what's real interesting is the premium for option sellers will get sucked right out. So if you sold options on Tesla, congratulations. That'll pretty much go to zero tomorrow. Doesn't look like it's going to have really any kind of massive impact at all, which is kind of best case scenario for a lot of people. So really that's it on Tesla. I mean, we're going to look at it more tomorrow. I'll put it on the list for tomorrow, but it doesn't really look like much is going to happen on TSLA. My girl Joanne wants to look at NIO tomorrow. Got it. I will put that on the list. Thursday morning, Tesla. All right. So we'll see what it does between now and tomorrow, but realistically, not much. Facebook. So ticker symbol FB. Up 11%, y'all. Who remembers what I talked about yesterday on Facebook? 7-1. I know Sharon Baldwin does, because she said, what? I thought Facebook was, I mean, oh, they survived all the data stuff. You know, they got out of all of it. They scratched back, and now we're gapping really nicely. Here's the thing, folks. You can hate on Facebook and Zuckerberg as much as you want. You can not like it. But they have a lot of data. They make a lot of money. For you people out there who might not know, it's Facebook, it's Instagram, and it's WhatsApp. All three. And they're just making cash. They're making that money. So, I mean, this is a nice gap on Facebook. It is technically a retest gap, but I could see it just slowly peeling higher from here. There will be a lot of people locking in profit tomorrow on Facebook. We will see what it does, but she's recovered. She bounced off the 200, barely broke below it, trapped a lot of people right here, and is rocketing to the moon. So there you go. Seymour says, you do use Facebook a lot. Yeah, man, I'll try. Try and spread the word. PayPal, gapping down, lovely. That's beautiful. Great gap on PayPal, probably fades before market open. Do you remember 87.66? If you picked up some of that post-market, congrats. My boy John says he sold some 85 weekly puts expiring on PayPal. Nice. All right, John. I like that play. I did not do that personally, but I like it. Put sale, John, this Friday. 50 cents per contract. Solid job. Well, that will pretty much go kaput tomorrow. I'll keep an eye on it, but again, this gap down most likely will fade. PayPal is a little bit too strong of a trend right now. It is a slightly bearish gap. I will watch it tomorrow just in case, but most likely just kind of let it do its thing. Okay, that's PayPal. And last but not least is Microsoft, MSFT. And Microsoft, I mean, had a bearish day yesterday, huge bullish day today, and it's gapping down very small. 104.50, almost taking out the low of yesterday. If Microsoft takes out the low, nope, it's already recovered. Okay, well, that's pretty much it. So Microsoft gapping down, it's going to be really choppy. Realistically, though, I mean, it was all the way down to 102. It's already got bought back up. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't see much scariness on Microsoft, realistically. I mean, we'll look at it tomorrow morning, but I don't really see much. Sherry says Blue Apron is tomorrow morning. Yep, I decided to hold Blue Apron overnight, over earnings. Just because my stop is so far away that it'd have to gap, which it certainly could, but it'd have to gap 40% to hit my stop for me to lose an R. Certainly possible, but my thought is if it gaps up, it's going to run. So I'm just kind of crossing my fingers for something good, but most likely nothing great will happen. Daniel said I sold some 101 Microsoft puts. When do those expire, Daniel? 101. Nicely done, by the way, bud. Next week. All right, so February 8th. February 8th. Daniel R. Feb 8th. Okay, perfect. And the weekly options newsletter that I sold, that was sent out yesterday, was on Starbucks. Took some more SBUX, and that is in. So Starbucks, let's see if it continues to run. Looking good. Team from around the world, thanks for being here. I appreciate you all. Tomorrow is Transportation Thursday, same time, same place. 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. What would you like to look at tomorrow? Here's what I already have on the list. HYRE, Tesla, WAB, ICLK, RTN, NIO, Southwest, ABBV, Home Depot. Thomas says, what are some railroads? CSX, Baidu, ASU, Salesforce, FedEx. Joanna says, thank you so much, Jared. See you tomorrow afternoon, morning, I'm out. All right. Thanks for letting me know. I will see you then. HSY, beautiful and lovely. Well, team, I'm going to be here tomorrow. Anything else? Have any questions between now and then? Let me know. Tim says he did not receive the weekly options newsletter. It might be in your spam folder, I'm assuming, Tim, but if it's not, just go to reallifetrading.com, scroll down, and where it says weekly options newsletter edition 122, and click that bad boy and read it all for you. Lita says, is the recording of the session? Yes, ma'am, always is. I'll send it out in about 45 minutes. You rock, folks, and until next time, love life, and trade. You're amazing. Bye.